Sielnagad, Zan, Ugida, Dagwado, Ayog, Zalag, Nuli, Lakota, Degawa, Dani Langa, Diguena, Sha. I welcome you in my traditional language of my grandmother, the Cherokee language. I said, my name is John Feather. I am Cherokee and Lakota, and I welcome you to my home. I call all these mountains my home, and as did my friend Phillip Bell. We're here to celebrate his life. And when I say celebrate, I mean to enjoy some of the things that he stood for, some of the things that he believed in. And I do think that he was probably, and I told my friend Tony as he was coming over here, he was probably the first full-blooded white Native American that I've ever met. Because, I mean, it's kind of an oxymoron, I guess, if you want to put it that way. But he had a Native heart. And he would be, if he was sitting here today, I mean, if he was alive today, he would say, don't make any fuss about me. Just another day, Go on with your lives, have a good time, enjoy yourself, And he'd say, well, whenever I pass on, just go have a party, go enjoy yourself. Go out there and, laugh and be merry. And I don't think that he would want us to cry for him. But I think he saved my life. He gave my wife a job. He helped so many natives, so many people on the reservation. I mean, not just with money, not just with, jobs, but he helped them with encouragement. He sponsored so many teams, so many princesses, and we all knew whenever we heard Ride a Wild Horse, we knew who it was on the reservation, or Spirits on the River. We knew that it was Phillip and Ann, and they never asked for any kind of acknowledgement. They never asked for any kind of, pats on the back. I think they were just as happy to be part of our community as we were happy that they were there. And I want his family to know that we loved him. And we loved Ann too. And I guess probably the thing that I remember about Phillip the most is that he loved to put on a good show. He wanted people to, come and enjoy his food and his show. And he enjoyed, and I guess one of the other crowning moments in his life was when he was in the Last of the Mohicans. He bragged about that to no end. And, I was in the movie with him, and I got to get probably about 3 seconds of screen time the whole movie. But he was in there pretty prominent. I mean, you can actually see him in the movie. And Phillip was like, "Did you see me? Did you see me?" And I was like, "I saw you, Phillip. I was in there with you." And one scene we was in where we come running out of the mountains and we attacked the British soldiers, or the column that was coming down in the field there. That was I think that was somewhere past I want to say Pisgah Forest, somewhere out in that area. And boy, it was hot that day, and it was just miserable. And he was over there taking pictures, laughing and joking around with everybody and just having a good time. And he even come to me and he says, "Do you want to kill me?" And I was like, "Well, I guess so." I mean, I guess that's what we're going to do in this scene, right? And so, I mean, and then afterward he said, "Man, I got killed 8 times today. Did you see that?" And I was like, "I saw that, Phillip. I was there. I was burning up just like you were." And to me, Phillip lived every moment of his life like it was his last. All the way over here, I said, "I'm not going to cry." I'm not going to, because I know he wouldn't want me to do that. But I can't help it. I love Phillip. I did. I loved him and Ann. But, I mean, sometimes, whenever I'd go over there to do a show, before we got on stage or got going, you could hear, before all the people got there, you could hear him and Ann in the background in the kitchen, and they'd have some Donnybrooks. They'd have some good ones. They'd have some good arguments. And a few F-bombs were dropped, and a few names were called, a few swear words. But when they come out of there, they were ready to go. And they were like, if Ann came out first, she'd say, "He'll be all right in a minute." Or if Phillip came out, he'd say, "She'll be all right. If you just give her a few minutes, she'll be all right." And that's just the way it was. I mean, they loved each other. And I know that as soon as he saw her the other day, she said, "Where the hell you been, Phillip? I've been waiting on you." And he said, "Well, I'm here now, And I'm sure they're walking hand in hand right now, enjoying this beautiful day." So I apologize for but I can't help it. He was a good friend of mine. And I've got a couple of stories I'd like to tell. I do powwows, and he let me take some of his crafts with me down in Florida. I want to say 1986. And it's probably before most of you in this room were born. But in 1986, he let me take some of his stuff from Ride a Wild Horse. And one thing in particular, it was like a really nice knife. It had a bone handle, and it was really nice. It was probably around $150 to maybe $200. He wanted for it. And when we got down there was about 2,000 students that came through there that day. And had I been smart, I would have covered my table up until the students left. But I'm 23 years old. I'm trying to sell something, which I didn't sell much, when the kids were there. But whenever I started packing up, I noticed the knife was gone. And I'm like, I didn't sell that. I bet one of those, somebody swiped it because I couldn't find it nowhere. So I'm scared all the way home. You know what I'm gonna tell Phillip? You know, I don't think I made enough money to pay him for the knife. And when I got here, I said, Phillip, I said, I got something to tell you, man. He said, what is it? I said, you know that knife you let me take? He said, yeah. I said, it got stolen, man. I said, I don't know, I can't find it. I said, it's not in none of my stuff. I said, I know I didn't sell it. He goes, well, you know what? He looked me dead in the eye. He said, maybe they need it worse than I did. That's just the kind of person he was. That's just how he was. And another story, we was going to do a show over here. I want to call it Spirits on the River 2, because the first one was in Cherokee, and I got some stories from there too. But this story involves Charlie Bell, his nephew. I came over, and I usually came over a little bit early on Saturday to get his famous pheasant salad, which I still miss. Dang it, Phillip. I wish I had one. But I was over here getting ready, getting my outfit together, and just getting everything in place. And it's kind of in a rush, I guess. So I asked Charlie, which he was probably in high school at the time. I said, Charlie, can you do me a favor? He said, what, man, what? And Charlie was always willing to help. He was always, hey, man. He was always glad to see me. He was always like, hey, man, what's up? Tell me all about his football and everything like that. And he was like, yeah, man. He said, what do you need? I said, can you take this drum, set it over by he had a kerosene heater over there that put out flame. And I said, take this drum. It was a really nice drum. It was a hand drum. It was all sewed up, sinewed up and everything. I think it was elk hide. Sure. So he takes it over there and he sets it too close to the flame. And about 15 minutes later, he comes back. He's got this really weird look on his face, like somebody had died. And I'm like, what's wrong, Charlie? I'm sorry, Dane. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. I'm like, sorry for what, man? I said, did somebody die? He said, I guess he had the drum behind his back. He said, I burn a little hole in your drum. I was like, well, let me see. Maybe if it's not too big, we can still use it. At least use it. Still use it. Man, he burnt the biggest hole right in the center of that drum. And I was like, Charlie, how did you do that? I was like, how? He said, I don't know, man. I'm sorry. I'll pay you for it. And then I started thinking back what Phillip said to me just years before, about what I had. It was a lesson, What did I say, Charlie? I just said, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, man. It's all right. I'll get another one. And he was so relieved. He was like, it was like a big relief. So I think Phillip, he was not only a good person, he was a teacher. And he, man, my mind is just going 90 miles an hour. But he was the old proverbial saying, he'd give you the shirt off his back. He literally would. wish I could be that way. I don't know if I can. If I ever could be half the man Phillip Bell was, I'll be happy. And I told Tony when he's coming over here, I want to open a restaurant. And you know what I want to call it? Ride a Wild Horse 2. And I want to spell it T-O-O. And I want to specialize Native American game, Native American food, just like he did. I think that would, I think that would, I think that would really go over well. So, I don't know how I'm doing on time, but we've got a little bit of, I'm going to sing a prayer song for Phillip. And I'm going to offer a prayer. Then I'm going to let Tony play some music, just in observance and of respect for Phillip Bell. And so this is a prayer song that I've been taught for many years. It's from Oklahoma. And lay low, go, yo, hey, yo. Lay low, go, yo, hey. Lay low, go, yo, hey, yo. Lay low, go, yo, hey, yo. Yo, hey, yo, hey, yo, hey, yo, hey, yo. Sorry. Lay low, go, hey, yo. Lay low, go, hey. Lay low, go, hey, yo. Lay low, go, hey, yo. Yo, hey, yo, hey, yo, hey, yo, hey, yo, hey, yo. Walk on down, lay low, go, hey, hey, yo. Okay. Tate uye do bocheka no makumpo no wiota wakia o yatike hit no ziata tatonka o yatike no wio himpata sinte sapala o yatike na toto gata wambli o yatike no makaina no uchimaka no kachka no hochoka wambli kleska tunkashlo kantanka. Good manner and a good way, I ask you to welcome this man, Phillip Bell, into your kingdom, into your presence, and that he has a safe trip, and that when he sees Ann, it's a good reunion. And I'm going to ask for these things, good manner and a good way today here in this place. I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you for this day. Thank you for my family. Thank you for all the people that are gathered here today in a good manner and a good way. Matakiwasa, Uchimala Tankashalo, Uchimala. Pilamia. I'm going to ask Tony to go ahead and play this song for Phillip. If you will, Tony, go ahead. in the Cherokee language, we don't have no word for goodbye. We don't have no way to say. All we do is say, till we meet again. So I'm going to say that to you, Phillip. Hawaka, go ahead, you. Thank God for you. Ski, my friend. Till we meet again.
Hello, my name is Charlie Bell, and I had the very good fortune of being the man who we memorialize today, his nephew. Thank you, Dane, for all of your great words and stories. My uncle was a Renaissance man, and he was actually the definition of cool before I even knew what that word meant. He had a very distinct style. Anybody that knew him by his red trucker hat, white T-shirt, blue jeans, work boots. And this is what he'd wear to formal events as well as casual ones. So the thing about my uncle is that he was one of the most authentic people that I ever met. And that authenticity just radiated throughout with him. And I think it's one of the reasons why he was so drawn to indigenous people, indigenous culture, just how those people interact and they treat you with just the absolute warmest of affections. He just greatly appreciated those relationships and just wanted to do nothing but return that love back with everything that he had. He was responsible. My mother and I started off living in Washington, D.C. We weren't exactly in the best part of the city. He started businesses down in Cherokee, and he wanted my mother to come down and help them run them. And so in doing that, he brought us down to the reservation. He exposed me to cultures and people that I don't think I would have ever had that kind of experience without having my Uncle Phillip in my life. And his whole draw for those cultures is that he just wanted to show appreciation and respect for them because he felt like at the time, and this is in the mid-'80s, he felt like for the most part these cultures have been exploited, not treated in any way like they should be, and appreciated, especially by people of Caucasian race. And so my uncle started Ride a Wild Horse as a craft consignment shop because he wanted to highlight actual Cherokee artists that made actual beautiful artwork of all sorts and not just things that were made in, say, China or Taiwan. And in doing that, he wanted to give a marketplace for these artists so that they could have a chance to earn money and off their wares instead of like having to go door to door and sell them. He started, him and my Aunt Ann started Spirits on the River restaurant with the same thing in mind, to highlight the authenticity, the culture that is with Native Americans. I think it best now that I share with you some words that my uncle had written, and it's kind of, I guess, a mission statement about what him and my aunt wanted to accomplish with their businesses in Cherokee. In the summer of 1988, Spirits on the River Incorporated, a Native American restaurant and trading post, opened on the banks of the Oconaluftee River in Cherokee, North Carolina. Our main idea was to honor and pay respect to the native cultures of the Americas and their foods which sprang from Mother Earth to nourish many, many people throughout the world. An amazing 66% of the world's foods were cultivated by native peoples from North and South America. This in itself is such an astounding fact. Not only did Native American foods circle the globe, but this incredible array of American foods has dramatically influenced other cultures' eating habits more than any other on the face of the earth. The restaurant started slowly but gathered much acclaim in the following years. The Greensboro News and Record included it as one of its most unique restaurants in North Carolina. This 1989 article not only gave us top billing, but it put Spirits on a level with the well-known Marketplace and Greenery restaurants in Asheville at the time. In 1990, we were visited by a large contingent of National Geographic magazine staff who had just finished taking pictures of the Great Smoky Mountains. After finishing dinner, the main photographer in the group told me they had decided to mention Spirits on the River in their upcoming National Geographic Traveler magazine. In the fall of 1989, a movie company from Atlanta was filming a short Indian movie on the Cherokee Indian Reservation called Voices in the Wind. In this movie were Indian actors Frank Salcedo, Wes Studi, and Larry Sellers, along with Cherokee Indians Bullet Standing Deer and Robert Bushyhead. Robert Bushyhead, a Baptist minister, had married my wife Ann and me in Bat Cave, North Carolina in May of 1977. Frank Salcedo, a Californian Indian, frequently visited Spirits on the River during the month and a half of filming of the movie. It was really enjoyable conversing with this man whom I had seen in many numerous Native American movies, playing opposite many white leading film stars. Also coming into the restaurant and trading post was Wes Studi, an up-and-coming Native actor who went on to play roles in Dances with Wolves, Last of the Mohicans, and Geronimo with Gene Hackman. Wes Studi mentioned our trading post and restaurant to the people who were filming Last of the Mohicans in North Carolina in 1991. Movie prop experts were curious to see our trading post, were impressed, and invited me over to their warehouse before the filming. I, in turn, referred people to them who were very experienced in making renditions of 1700s Indian wampum belts, tomahawks, pipes, etc. The movie's production managers offered me the opportunity to be involved in a couple of different scenes. The filming of the movie brought many people into our businesses in Cherokee, North Carolina. Wes Studi led a contingent of the professional movie crew and makeup artists through the restaurant and trading post on a Saturday night in July of 1991. The following week, Spirits on the River received a phone call from Kamut Grant, the former wife of Dennis Banks, the co-founder of the American Indian Movement. Kamut is now married to Rodney Grant, who starred in the movie Dances with Wolves as the character Wind in the Hair. Kamut was working with Last of the Mohicans film crew and had eaten in our restaurant with the large group I mentioned before. Kamut Grant asked if Spirits on the River could cater the Mohican set. Unfortunately, at that point in time, we could not assure service for so many people at once. However, that didn't stop the people affiliated with the film from coming in. Eric Swag, a Cree Indian who played Uncas in the Mohican film, was in our restaurant and trading post on a regular basis. I just saw Eric playing an Apache Indian in The Missing, a recent film with Tommy Lee Jones and Val Kilmer. Daniel Day-Lewis also came into our trading post and restaurant. He told me he had never eaten buffalo and wanted to try buffalo steak specifically. I just saw Daniel in Gangs of New York with Cameron Diaz and Leonardo DiCaprio. Meeting the people involved in these films and being allowed the opportunity to serve them authentic Native foods has been an incredible experience for us. In June of 1992, Spirits on the River was mentioned in Outside magazine, which advised readers not to leave the Great Smoky Mountains area without trying our Native American cuisine. In 1993, Spirits on the River was visited by the head buyer for Epcot Center of Disney World. He was so impressed by his meal that he invited us to come to Epcot and meet with him. Unfortunately, we were not able to go. Later on, my wife and I were cooking at the Seminole Indian Powwow in Orlando, Florida, when the same man saw us there and invited us to spend the night at his house. We regretfully had to turn down that invitation as well. I thought that Epcot was interested in doing something similar to our restaurant and their amusement park, and since that time, they have opened themed restaurants that serve wild game foods, including buffalo. In the summer of 1993, we rented a building on the Swannanoa River in Asheville, North Carolina. We wanted to put another Spirits on the River there because it could be opened year-round, while the restaurant in Cherokee was only open seasonally. In 1992, Spirits on the River was chosen by the Gadua Indian Festival to serve native food at a preview party for the festival, which was to be held in Asheville. This helped familiarize other people in Asheville with our restaurant before we actually moved there. We ended up moving the restaurant to Asheville and opening up in late 1994. After the move, the Asheville Citizen-Times did a write-up of us, and we were also included on the WOS Channel 13 6 o'clock news. All of these accolades that I have been able to accomplish during my career are something that I will always look upon fondly. And I am just thankful to have had these experiences and been able to meet with these people and live the life that I have. I'm very grateful.